It's a faster, more efficient
Yes.
version of the original virus that causes COVID-19. It's the same virus, it's just better at infecting people. Delta is far more contagious than its predecessors. It's spreading twice as quickly as the original strain, and people who are infected with it carry around much more virus. Getting vaccinated is the best defense we have against COVID 19, including against the Delta variant. Now, check this out, the vaccine is free, safe, and effective. Time to protect yourself is now. Learn more at kingcounty.gov/vaccine. Rainier Avenue Radio presents All Music, All Day Saturday. Music, All Day Saturday.
This is Edwin Bailey, Bulldog Blue.
Jazz from the Cabinets.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Star Time.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pierce. This is Star Time.
Saturdays, all music, all day. Reggae Hour. K-Fox Night.
Looking for the perfect beat? Yeah, it's the beat of the box.
Fresh Juice with D-Money in the group.
Myself, D-Money. Honey Size Patron.
Taylor Hart.
This is Spencia, the Northwest Rap Gang.
DJ Bettina, Chad Cheddar, Northwest Rap Game.
Sergio Lacour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we just
Sea Monster Radio. Mo Jams. It's your jam.
We're live. Welcome to Mojo Mondays. This is KZ of KZ Music Media. Caller Goddess for Mojo Mondays.
Just my opinion. God is inspiration. Music all day and all night. Saturdays on Rainier Avenue Radio.org. Friends of Waterfront Seattle presents Pier Sounds, an October concert series at Pier 62 on the downtown Seattle waterfront, featuring sensational regional bands and artists, including Tiffany Wilson on October 16th. These free, family-friendly concerts welcome everyone to come and enjoy live music and the sights and sounds of Seattle's waterfront. Pier 62 was home to one of the most iconic and popular music events in the city, Summer Nights on the Pier. Pier Sounds concert series forges this memory with new energy and music on a revitalized Pier 62 to reignite the sense of celebration and community in the place where it all began. Pier Sounds new concert series at Pier 62.
You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Can't get enough of that. Can't get enough of that.
There's that shattering glass all over the floor. Hello world, Bettina Carey here. And as I like to say, I may be only 4'9.5", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect with powerful people just like you. And my soul's purpose is to inspire and empower bold men and women to create really big results. They break through, shatter their earnings glass ceilings, kick self-imposed limitations to the curb, and live their legacies right now. Whether I'm coaching from a virtual stage or conferring with a small cohort of women or men on the rise across a conference table, I'm here for one thing, and that is to champion others like you. Our straight talk compels others to find a whole new gear to succeed beyond their wildest dreams. So if you've been looking to shatter your glass ceilings, to live your legacy now, you've come to the right place. And today's show, I'm going to be featuring a legacy person who is like no other. I have with me today legacy life mentor and love from above founder, Paulette Hamel. She's guided high-achieving entrepreneurs who once struggled to scale their life or feed their soul to find out some days are not days on the calendar. With her uncanny ability to see and reflect the brilliance of legacy in others, Paulette has helped open the door for the big names and businesses on the rise to realize true success doesn't like what's on your own bank account, but in how you have elevated and supported others, paid it forward, and left a meaningful legacy. Welcome, Paulette Hamel, that is, to the stage. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks, Bettina. It's great to be here.
Yes, and we just featured you on the summit stage just last week, which afforded you an opportunity to meet all of our We Empower You members and non-members and affiliates from around the world. So it was great to have you there, and you delivered such a powerful message. I just had to have you here this week. let's get started by talking about this mutual belief that we have in glass ceilings are meant to be broken, not, shattered rather, not merely broken. What do you say about that?
I absolutely agree. And, I was thinking before I came on, and I was like, man, my generation, I'll speak to my generation. I grew up really being told children should be seen and not heard, actually being told that. And at the same time, had parents that promoted being curious, get out and see the world. And there's so much that you want to have to be a part of your life, and don't let being a woman prevent you from those things. But grinding halt when I entered the business world. And that glass ceiling was there from the get-go. So I chose to not see it as a glass ceiling, but to see it as something I had to break through as a proving ground. Now, right or wrong, that's the mindset that I had at that time. And what I did is I really let go. I left Canada. I took off in my little car and packed up, and in 5 days made a decision to leave dental hygiene and go into the fashion industry, and went into school in California. And that started the process of, holy cow, if I can leave my country and go somewhere else and see an opportunity and make that happen, then men are the least of my problem. It's making sure that people know what I can do. So I want to start there, because I think with the way I grew up in my generation, that mindset was squashed, broken, shattered at a very early age. And I look at peers and other women that are stuck, right? They're in there looking up. And I think we talked about this yesterday. They're looking at the soles of the man's feet above them. He gets paid more. He gets better offer. He's given better recognition. For some reason, this still exists, especially in the corporate world. Online, a little different, but in the corporate world, for sure.
Yeah, I remember that I was on a soapbox for many, many years about it's being a man's world, and that was my soapbox. That was my theme song forevermore, and then I got it. I went to Maui to a publishing workshop that Patrick Snow was giving. And I realized in that moment, after talking with the radio host there, that it's not a man's world. It's the mindset that was blocking me from achieving my own success. Because at that point, in that age, I had already been through a career in nursing. I was already coaching. I was already living into my life's purpose, empowering others. And so what else could block me except for my mind, you know? And it was the self-limiting beliefs and, I'm not good enough. I'm not there yet. I need to work harder. I need to be more perfect. And when I shattered those beliefs, then life got a whole lot easier. And so you had a very similar experience, maybe perhaps even around the same age, because we're about the same age.
And I came up with something. My mom used to always say, "Oh, just put yourself in the shoes of that person." Especially if I was in a judgment call on somebody, it's like, "There's no way. They don't know what they're doing. They don't appreciate me. Whatever." She's like, "Put yourself in their shoes. You don't know what they have to go home to." And I always thought that was interesting. The last part of it is like, why do I care what they have to go home to? And she goes, "That's the point. If you don't care about the people that you're working with, and you don't start to see the glass ceiling is a place where you agree to be seen and not heard, then what's the big word around that?" And for me, it's confidence. So she gave me the confidence to shatter the glass ceiling by looking at people in a different way and saying, you know what, he might be going home to a broken marriage, taking care of 2 kids, picking up this, that, and the other, scared to death about what's going to happen with his business, whatever his story is. And I'm saying male because in my life and in my experience, it has been men in higher positions than me that got the higher pay and the positions when I was doing great. And I looked at, why was I getting passed over, or why was I getting lateral moves with these people below me with less experience, etc., getting higher pay and higher positions. And the confidence that came out was I started to ask not just why, but who can I speak to tell me what I need to do to get to this level. And that changed everything. So then my confidence to talk to a CEO or an upper manager, or an EVP or vice president, or to come online and approach people that have podcasts with a message that I resonate with, and me being, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not all over the place. That's well known. Thanks to Bettina, you're raising me up, you're giving me wings. And I looked at this and I thought, yeah, I need to share today that speaking out gives confidence. And I'm not talking about speaking out as in as vomiting or blurting all your negative connotations and your story of what you think is happening. I'm talking about speaking out by speaking up to people that you might have had a fear of, or people that you thought you were below, and taking that away. And thank goodness the younger generations, and I think today's world and the internet have brought out a better equality in what I'm talking about. And I hope this is making sense.
Yes.
But it's that the glass ceiling is barriers. The glass ceiling has no longer a place that you can see where you're going and what you want to do. It's barriers to prevent you from having knowledge or tech or things that you think you don't know.
Yes,
So
and there's a lot of
go down too far down the rabbit hole, but I hope you're following what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and there's a lot of unconscious biases along those lines. So you ended up, of course, having this philosophy that Sunday is not a day on the calendar. Tell us a little bit about living into that philosophy in order to be where you are today, living your legacy.
Yeah, when you take that approach, you also shatter something else called shoulds, SHOULDS. If you shatter your shoulds, you are breaking the traditions of what society says you should live to, or what society says you should be, or what society thinks you should do as a woman in business, as a woman with an online business, as a woman entrepreneur. So that comment came from getting rid of the shoulds and putting in place the I think, the I can, the what can I do now, and with whom can I do that to move forward. And I use who in a very strong way, because so many people in business today and with this glass ceiling mentality are like, what can I do? Right? Mm-hmm. It's not who can I work with that will help me to get there. And that takes me to a little side note, is that having a mentor is somebody who is a guide, but having a master teacher that you work with and that you bring onto your team, and that you
recording stopped.
You are then able to have somebody who will give you their wisdom. And that's what happened. So this whole confidence that I was talking about earlier came from having people around me that I let into my life and said, okay, I'll go under your wing. I'll do what you're telling me to do, because I believe your wisdom is going to get me to where I want to go.
Yes. And right now we have Master Nigel Henry.
Yeah.
Both of us are working with him.
Yes.
His activations strategy. So I'm glad that you're mentioning about that. So along the way in your journey, you got a phone call, and it wasn't the kind of phone call that any one of us, no matter what time of the day it is, appreciates. Tell us a little bit about what happened during that phone call and thereafter.
Yeah, it was a family member, and I was running into a meeting that I'd been preparing for weeks. It was a big presentation. I looked down at my phone and it was a family member, so I picked it up. And the message that came across was short and to the point. And this person was in a place in life where he said that I have 1 year to live. I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer and I need help. And the help that he was asking for was to put plans in place and to get affairs in order. So, of course, I went home, and my family got together and we rallied behind this person, and it was my brother. And he's in remission now, so all is good. But what happened was his request was not for me, but to help with my parents who did not have affairs in order at the time. And that experience led to bringing in somebody into our lives that was an expert in this particular work of recording your wishes. And we did this as a family, and it was a profound experience to be able to sit there and learn about each other. You know, we thought people had certain wishes. Somebody wanted to be buried. No, they wanted to be cremated. Other person didn't want to be cremated and put in an urn on the mantle. They wanted to be scattered by a balloon in the sky. So things that we learned about one another brought our family into a communication and connection that was incredible. And that was the catalyst. Yeah, that was the catalyst for me going into this work.
And then you up-leveled the idea of the word of legacy, meaning more than just death and dying.
Yes, and that's
more than last wishes.
Yes.
More still every day. Share a little bit about how you define legacy.
Right. So I don't even consider a definition for legacy. Legacy is a lifestyle. What happened was, as I started to share that, did you know having a will and a trust in order is important, and what a gift it is to have your affairs recorded and in order. But more importantly, that you need to share your vision with your family. You need to share your vision with your business. And oh, by the way, what about a succession plan? And move away from the family tree and look at who's right for your business to take over. And don't be afraid to set up your business to run without you, and why that will affect your future. So what happened, Bettina, is it went from taking care of affairs when you're passing away and being the end of the process to create legacy, to legacy becoming the first step, and putting your mindset and lifestyle around that to create your business and create a lifestyle you love. And I do that by bringing people together, women, especially women entrepreneurs, and we go to cool locations and meet once a year, like a think tank, and we network, we share our experiences and our assets with one another to create opportunities for people that maybe don't know this information as well. And that has led to offers and products that are going into the marketplace. And that continues to manifest as we have coaching sessions, and I do the other work that I do here online with the women of significance.
So you created what you call legacylife.io is your website?
Legacylife.io is my free gift. It's
okay.
Something called 24 No's to Know. And then legacycreator.io goes deeper into the program that I offer. And the third place where you can find me is the Women of Significance, which is a private Facebook group.
Yeah.
And in there is where we talk about all things legacy, and it's wide open. Questions are asked and I give answers, or I give insights, invite guests and people to come in and share the legacy they left the world, or the legacy that they have that's in work.
Yes, and the 24 No's to Know, we can't just slip by that. What is that? Give us an example.
It's 24 No's, N-O''S. And what happened is this whole event with my family and switching from corporate and going into a consulting business in the fashion industry, and then doing a side business that started out online as a way to, you got to know this about getting your affairs in order, led to conversation. And the conversation was tough because it was about death. It was about what you think in terms of life, what your bucket list is and how to achieve it, how to get soul nurturing and adventure on equal level, right? And discovery on equal level with money-making efforts. So we're all in business to make money. At the end of the day, there's a money segment or attachment to legacy, but a big part of legacy is your words. So the 24 No's to Know is a way to get better at saying yes, right? To the things that are going to move you forward or move me forward in business and in life. So I went through, I kind of broke it out. There's no to social events, to work projects, to people asking favors of you, to people volunteering, and to people for everything else. So some of the examples, like, for example, on a social event, it's like, that's an exciting event. It sounds great. Typically, I'd love to do something like that. However, my schedule is maxed out, but thanks anyway. A lot of us haven't been taught how to say no. Instead, it's like guilt that we didn't say yes. And then our plate is filled with all these yeses that are taking us nowhere, but definitely filling up our time.
Yeah.
So
I love it when my calendar says no. My calendar says no.
And I wish it would talk back to us and say, not now, not yet.
Yes.
So
Not at this time.
right. And that's the other thing.
Which way to say no, right?
Yeah, and that no is not for forever. No can be just a way to say not now. And some of the not nows are not needed. So I know that in the work we're doing with Nigel and other people, that is a virus word, and what a great way to premise that, and how much it can pull you down. Well, my intention for this document was the same thing, to share with people that if you know ways to say no, the yes and the affirmation and the greatness that it brings to your life is huge.
Yes.
So that's
you talk about this as part of scaling, right? You really are not able to scale if you're not able to say no to the things you could say no to, or yes to the things that you could say yes to, because everything's always a choice, right?
Right, absolutely. You can say yes and be busy up the yin yang, right? And have all your calendar filled with, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do that, I'm going to talk to so and so, I'm going to talk to this person. But at the end of the day, are you making a profit? And are you making money? And that takes us back to this glass ceiling of being busy and not being seen, or being busy and not being heard. Is you creating your own glass ceiling, because people can look down and see all the work you're doing. But if you can't look up and see the difference you're making to the world, then what's it for? Exactly. So your analogy of shatter the ceiling, and the analogies that you've shared around that are huge and hit home, and can't be spoken loud enough.
Yeah, I love the fact C.L. King interviewed me a while back, and he said that, the ceiling is now the floor, right? So as we, shatter the ceiling and we move on up to wherever it is we want to be going, then the glass is on the floor, and then you look up again, and then, what else do you want to shatter? That's how I perceive it.
Yeah, so, and I want to. I'm sorry to interrupt, because I want to share something with you. I think I want to see if I can make this work. I have an hourglass, and I keep this by me all the time. And I don't know if you can see this, but it says inspired. And my premise is that glass ceiling, this reminds me, because glass is see-through, glass is clear. And I go through the inspired, what do you call it? I get inspired when I look at this, because I think about the time. Now, in my opinion, is time limited? Yes, that's my mindset right now. But I don't mean that time is like, as in timelessness. I'm talking about the time to do tasks, to do things, to get things accomplished, which becomes productivity. So as the time is running, well, guess what glass is made of? It's made of sand. The sand fills the hourglass, right? So if sand makes glass, glass is clear. It gives you an opportunity to see through what you need to do. And there are things that will take time, that have a limit, that can run out. And there's also the other way, where you've got the time and you've secured it and you've seen what you've done, and you take this wisdom and now you pass it to the next person.
Yeah, I love all that.
Yeah. So I love every day. I
have to get myself an hourglass like that. So we've talked a little bit about, what brought you to living into this legacy life and creating legacy and helping others to create legacy. Share with us what it's like to work with you. And if you have a success story you want to share, obviously anonymously, let us know that too.
Yes. When you work with me, I have a couple processes. I am in my Facebook Live, and I do that Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Significant Voice TV. And that is where I talk to all things legacy that are grounded in the pillars for my business, which are confidence, connection, and contribution. So I go through the series with you in terms of what it takes to excel and have a life of excellence within each of those pillars. So if we take connection, for example, that community in Facebook leads to another community where I give group coaching sessions. And these coaching sessions are done in 5-day increments. And we go through and actually complete legacy type tasks, whether it's recording messages or writing down your wishes or figuring out what it is that we need to have in terms of a will and a trust and a healthcare directive. I bring in experts to talk about that. So I do those every 6 to 8 weeks. But at the end of each of those, I invite others to join me in something called the Legacy Creators Inner Circle. And that is a very small group of people. It is a think tank where we get together and we share our wisdom and we share our resources with one another. And that often evolves into things like this, where we speak with one another on each other's platforms, where we share messages. Those of us that are writing a book, we give input, we get feedback. It's all encompassing. So that's a higher level, higher ticket. I am offering that to anybody listening. That is $10,000. My coaching weeks are $1,995 for 5 days. So you're welcome to join me on any of those. And if you want to just come in and check things out and hang out and get to know me, then that's the Facebook group, The Women of Significance.
All right. And what's the website landing page?
The website landing page right now is PauletteHamel.com. And that's PauletteHamel.com. And we are up-sprucing and up-leveling that website. So we are well underway right now. We'll be shut down, they said, for the next week and a half. So we're changing the structure of that. But the Facebook group is there, and the legacylife.io as well as legacycreator.io. So then you also asked about situations or people that I'm working with now, clients that have had success. And what we have gone through is I have a client now, and they are creating a multi-level marketing business service. So they are servicing people in that industry. Mm-hmm. And what she has been able to accomplish is a tool, a plannable item that she has posted, and she lets these marketers go in and do this particular journal to record methods and techniques that their downline will use, right, to execute their business day to day. That led to a conversation about legacy. She is setting up her business to be able to pass on to somebody she does not know, but somebody she works with. And she is now training them to take over her position as the visionary for the company by sharing her wisdom and vision with what she knows with them. What was interesting about this is the first step that happened is a company saw what she was doing, her effectiveness on working with the leaders of network marketing companies, and the program that she put in place to help their downline, and said, we have a product that we would love for you to endorse to sell to them. So what happens? She gets a commission. That commission, after a couple of years, actually I think it was close to 5 years, led to a partnership agreement where she is now in partnership with a very large company that is turning this service into an online business only for these same people. So she went from a commission and a sponsorship from somebody who saw what she did with her clients and the effect they had on their downline. Yep. And it resonated, right? So I'm talking about referral. I'm talking about the legacy of the word, how that spread, how she gained confidence and was able to turn that around. And in networking, we are now working together to create a subscription type product that will be used to share with the public in, we hope, within the next 4 to 6 months. So that's one bigger level on a business level. On a small level.
Oh, actually, we're going to have to wrap up here.
Oh, no, we've been talking for a long time.
I'd like to have you come back and share some more, Paulette. It's been great to have you today. You're watching and or listening to Rainier Avenue Radio. The next show is an encore broadcast of God is Inspiration. Thank you so much, Paulette. It's so great to be in this conversation of living legacy right now. We'll see you all next week. Bye for now.
Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through. No, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community. It's a membership. It's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.